in Western Pennsylvania, the Pittsburgh area to be exact. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Welcome back to the show. This is episode 703 of the Two Dumb Yinzers. That's right, 703, Mike. It will not be long till we will be at the big plateau of 1,000. I'm already buying the balloons.
Buying the balloons?
I'm already blowing up the balloons. They'll be ready for the big 1,000. But good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Quite a contrast,
Yes.
like from just yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, I wake up today and it's snowing.
Yeah.
Which is unbelievable because just yesterday, Mike and I were frolicking around in the the parking lot of the studio in our Speedos, and it was I seen Mike trying to side past me.
Yeah, it's like,
once he seen my nut meat hanging out the bottom of my Speedo.
yeah, it was like, I was like, you probably should have went with the bigger size. I tried to tell you, like, you need to go with the bigger size. You're like, no, I'll be fine.
I figured this out way back in the 80s. If watching TV, if you see somebody in Speedos, or if you're going to wear Speedos, go with the smaller size.
Yeah.
It seems to work in your advantage. Of
Yeah.
course, again, my nut meat was hanging out the bottom of my Speedo. And for this, the universe sends us snow today. So welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back.
My nut meat.
My nut meat was everywhere. Derpy, how you doing today, man?
No coffee, but I'm doing good.
You know what made me laugh the other day? I was going back and watching tape of Tuesday's show. And Derpy, what the hell was you eating? I mean, it was like full wrap.
And you know
it. And it wasn't just opening a wrapper. It was opening a wrapper for a really long time. What did you say it was?
It was ding dongs, chocolate ding dongs.
It was ding dongs.
Ding dongs.
And that's why I said he's a ding dong.
All right.
At the end of the show.
All right. How many of them ding dongs were you eating, Derpy?
I had 4.
God damn! God, Derpy. Diabetes is real.
Yeah, baby. I love it, Derpy. You just keep eating your ding dongs and you'll be all right. Don't listen to Mike. He knows not. But we are back, everybody. We're back. This is the Two Dumb Yinzers. This is episode 703. This is the Thursday installment of the show. I'd like to welcome everybody back. Mike, we got a lot of things to talk about today. Matter of fact, I couldn't even keep up with everything that we need to talk about. So we're going to get into it.
After the show.
It really is. It really is, guys. Let's knock these out at the beginning of the show because we got a lot of football to talk about. We got a lot of free agency. We got trade deadline, everything. Mike, Pittsburgh Penguins, they take a L to the Avalanche on Tuesday night, 4-1. They are now 24-30-10. It's their third straight loss. They're 1-5-1 since the break. They trade away some players. Matter of fact, number 7, as you could just remember from three episodes, Vincent Desjardins is out, Mike. He went to San Jose for a 2028 fifth-round pick. I know Bunting's name was being mentioned, Mike. Was there more players on the Penguins that got traded away?
Yeah, Bunting was the one who got traded, Desjardins, and that was it. I like maybe like a 4th-round pick or something like that along the way. But yeah.
So it's safe to say the Penguins are done. They're out. They're not. At this point, they're making no attempt to get back in it, Mike.
It's a 0% chance to make the playoffs.
0%, huh?
Which is where we need to be.
Okay. If you say, I'm taking your advice. You are the Penguin guy in the house. So I'm going to take your advice on this, Mike. So they're crashing. That's it. They're just. What's the purpose for this, Mike? Because in NFL they do it for high draft picks. Yeah. But in hockey, I know the draft's a little bit different than the NHL or than the NFL. What's the big plan here with doing kind of what they're doing?
Right now, it is taking to get the draft picks. Right now, we're sitting like 6th in the lottery. We want to finish. If we can finish like in the top 3, there's some players that can be there. I think maybe there's one right now that's projected to be draft and play. We won't get him yet to be the top pick, but if you finish in like 2, 3, 4, 5, there's guys that can be ready in a year or 2.
Okay.
So that's what they want to do with their pick. I know we have like the Rangers pick, but it's protected. So if they fall outside of the draft lottery, the Rangers do. We have 2 picks this year. If not, we get their pick next year in the first round. So right now, we're trying to get our pick down into the lottery, hoping New York just misses the lottery, so we get their pick this year as well. Or if we get it next year, that's fine too. Right now, it's to tank, get some better draft picks. And then I'm looking to see. Wouldn't surprise me if Raquel is traded today or tomorrow during the trade deadline. So I think tomorrow is the trade deadline. Yeah.
That
So
is the name that I keep getting here and
yeah,
thrown
Raquel.
around was Raquel. Yeah.
Oh, he's having a damn good year, and now's the time to trade him because he's on pace for like over 30 goals this year. So trade him. Yeah, because he's at 29 right now. Trade him while the getting's good. Get the best value you can for him. First round picks are being thrown around like crazy this year. So yeah, get what you can to rebuild because they're rebuilding. And it's the way to do it, man, is get draft picks, trade the guys who have no movement clauses. And if they can convince Carlson to waive his no movement clause to certain teams, move him as well.
Mike, I'm looking at this Penguins team, and it looks like, I don't know if I'm doing the math right, they got roughly 16 games left to go in the season. Is it worth, again, I mean, we always say the reason that they keep a lot of these superstar names around, even though they're not being as productive as they were, at other points in their career, it's because they like to put butts in seats and people like to go see Gino and Sidney Crosby and Chris Letang and Carlson. Mike, is it going to be even worth going to watch any of these last 16 games if you are a Penguins fan, unless, again, you were going to see the superstars, which, again, I know a lot of people in Pittsburgh do. We have a lot of older players on all 3 of our pro teams that I would say that people come to watch just them, Andrew McCutcheon, the whole way down the list, of course. Mike, is it going to be worth even turning on a Penguin game from now till the end of the season?
Just to watch Crosby play, still continue to play at a high level. He's 66 points in 62 games. He's getting ready to pass Gretzky for the most points, most seasons consecutive with a point per game average. Crosby's the only reason to go watch this game or watch this team play because he's still playing at a high level. Go watch him play, enjoy it while you can. The only bad thing about this team is I wish Malkin, Carlson, and Letang did not have no movement clauses because those guys would be great to get rid of. Dump them for whatever you can. But
I tell you what, those no movement clauses, they seem great when things are going well.
Oh yeah, when they're going well, they're great. But when things hit the fan, they're not fun.
So that is the Pittsburgh Penguins, guys. They'll be back in action tomorrow night against the Las Vegas Golden Knights out there. It's going to be a 10 o'clock start. Guys, I don't know, support your Penguins. Of course, that is the 16 games, Mike, 16 games. Let's hang in there. Good morning to Jen on the board. How are you doing this morning, young lady? Let me dribble over to Pitt real quick, Mike.
Yeah.
The Pitt Panthers, who aren't doing much better than the Pittsburgh Penguins, they lose their 4th straight of the other night on Tuesday night, 71-63 to the North Carolina State college basketball team. Mike, this team, they're right there with the Penguins for me. I could hardly watch them at this point. They have 1 game left, which I'm thrilled about. They play Boston College on Saturday. That looks like it's going to be at 6 o'clock p.m. The last game of the year, Mike. I expected this team to do a lot more. I'm pretty disappointed in what they were able to do, but I think in the next 2 years, I think that this team is going to get a lot better with some of the younger players that they have. Mike, Pitt, Penguins, and none of it's working. We just we just got to wait for our Steelers to get back.
Yeah, or wait every 5th day during baseball season to watch Paul Skeens pitch. That's all we got right now. We got Paul Skeens and grinding out the college basketball and hockey until the Steelers play.
The funny thing about the Pirates, as you mentioned, they were also in action yesterday, Mike. They beat the Blue Jays 7-6. Joey Bart and O'Neal Cruz both go back-to-back. They go back-to-back home runs in this particular game. They win 7-6, Mike. The Pittsburgh Pirates, again, I'm optimistic. Nobody else is. I mean, deep down inside, I'm not.
Yeah.
But on the exterior, I try to be optimistic about this team because I just know one of these years they're going to pull one of those Kansas City Royals, Florida Marlins type seasons and go all the way. But it'll hit us out of nowhere. Like I said, it's going to be a big surprise if it ever does happen. But you got to say this rotation, Mike, is as good as most rotations in the
Yes.
league. You know, I mean, they're already saying they're already putting Paul Skeens in a category of a Hall of Famer. I seen something the other day where they
Yeah.
were putting players in categories. Hall of Famer, they're already putting Paul Skeens in. So
Normally I laugh when I see stuff like that, but in his case, we saw what he did as a rookie, and there's no signs to indicate he's going to regress. You know, he's like that type of athlete that every year is trying to get better and better, and yeah, he's just going to get better and better. So that one doesn't bother me, but we know we're going to waste him here, so enjoy it while you can.
here's just a quick, because of course we're gonna hop right into football. Mike, this is an interesting statistic that I saw. The Mets, of course, you know the Mets. They don't win World Series. They're not the Yankees. They every once in a blue moon they have one of these great years. The Mets have spent more in 4 years. The Mets have spent more in 4 years than the Bucks, the Marlins, and the Rays over the past 21 years.
Oh wow.
Wow.
So, I mean, there you go. I guess you could. It's a perfect example of spending a lot of money and not getting the results, which I think ultimately is what a lot of GMs are afraid of around just sports in general. But at some point, you got to try. I mean, you can't keep a low base standard and hope someday it happens. Sometimes you got to take that shot and bring in the big players. It's the only way that Mike, am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. I was going to say, like, I'd rather my team spend and lose than not spend and lose. You know, at least you're showing me that you're trying. I may not agree with the moves that you're doing, but at least you're spending the money to try and field a competitive team. I would love that here in Pittsburgh to spend money and lose. You know, because I've watched us not spend money and lose. I want to try something else. So
right.
I would. But after a while, though,
not spending money and losing, we're pretty used to that.
Yeah, like after 20, what do you say, 21 seasons?
21 seasons.
Yeah, it might get frustrating, but at least they're trying every year. To build a team that they think is competitive and spending the money for it. I would be ecstatic if my
and in turn, what's that do, Mike? That fills their stadium because they're putting big names at the plate every 81 games, no matter who they're playing. That's got to count for something. Again, look at that compared to what the Pirates are doing. I'm not saying spend Met money, but spend more than what the Pirates, the Marlins, and the Rays are spending. I mean, it's
exactly
but look at those two teams, Mike. Those two teams over the past 21 years did land themselves in the World Series. The Pirates being the only team left out in the cold, Mike. So that's what I'm saying. One of these years with Paul Skeens, maybe not. This is why I'm cautionally optimistic, Mike. But there you have it, guys. Let's get over to the gridiron. It's giving me. I'm itching talking about baseball. Pirates. Yeah, baby. Let's talk about some. Let's go NFL. You want to talk about? Let's do NFL first. Then we'll get into the Steelers. All right, NFL guys. Okay, this is one thing. Let me take a moment just to say hi to everybody. Good morning, Corey Beavers, my friend. He says, "What's up, guys? What a crazy week already." Absolutely, man. We are just less than a week away from the free agency opening up, and I can't wait. I'll talk about that in just a moment. Jen says to Corey, hopefully the Steelers can benefit from the whirlwind. And Kellerhost, wait, it's been like a month since I've watched, and there's still a fire alarm. Someone arrested. It's crazy, Kellerhost, and I think you do know, but he's been sick. Thurpey has been sick for a month. So he came back, hit the ground running. The fire alarm is still it didn't skip a beat. There it is. As a matter of fact, on Tuesday, he was eating on the show potato chips, I think it was. No, ding dongs.
Ding dongs.
And you heard all about it while he was doing it. Also, good morning to Yinzer Joe. What's up, brother?
What up, everyone?
Let me say, as a kid, what do you love about the NFL? You love their season, you love the postseason, the Super Bowl, and then you go on to do other things. As an adult, what do we like? We like the Senior Bowl, the Combine, franchise transition tag, free agency, the draft, rookie camp, OTAs, mandatory mini camp, training camp, cut day, preseason, regular season, trade deadline, postseason. Mike, it's just crazy how much the game is different when you're not looking out of 12-year-old eyes and idolizing guys the way that you did as a kid. Mike, I got to tell you, all these things that you do pay attention to, it makes a difference. I got to be honest with you. This feels like Christmas, guys. This is like Christmas, waiting for Christmas morning. Of course, Wednesday, 4 o'clock is when the free agency opens up in the NFL. Guys are already starting to move. Guys are already starting to get cut. There's a lot of pieces moving already, Mike, and it's still a little less than a week to go till the free agency opens up. Again, this is like Christmas. It really is like Christmas. You can't wait to see what's under the tree, who you're going to get this year. Are they going to make an impact? It's really what it's all about. Again, such a far jump. All those things that I mentioned, Mike, from when you're a kid, you think you know everything about football. You watch the season, it's over. Again, you move on with your life. All these things go into the NFL, I think, that makes the NFL great.
Yeah, and I read this list as well. I saw it the other day too, and I was like, I was a weird kid because I was one of the few kids who looked forward to the draft. I would plan my weekend around it and make sure I'd be, away from everyone, working outside. I'd have my radio, big ass boombox, listening to I think at the time it was like ESPN Radio 1250 with all those guys. I lived for free agency. Now, I didn't know anything. Well, then like the combine wasn't televised, so we didn't care. But like OTAs, didn't even know what those were. It was just, end of the season, wait till the draft in the beginning of the season. Then, like you said, as you get older, there's more stuff in between the draft and regular season. Now, as I get older, I look forward to it, man. And
I gotta be honest,
and it's a whirlwind right now too, with the legal tampering window, guys being released right now. It's nuts.
Do you remember that feeling as a kid watching your team and wondering when the hell did all this stuff happen? I'm watching a game. Well, wait a minute. We have so-and-so. Oh, wait, that right. Played for the Jets last year. And, some of those kind of things are the kind of thing I'm talking about. Now, we're well ahead of the news. We keep on it. But as a kid, ignorance is bliss, I guess, right?
Yeah, like James Ferrier. Where the hell did he come from? When did we get this guy?
Right.
Kendrell Bell. Who was this rookie? Where did he come from? Yeah. So, and now, like you said, man, we're all on top of it. No, trying to read the tea leaves and figure out where people are going to be, who's going to be cut, and if they get cut, where are they going?
Good morning, Yinzer Joe. What's up, brother, man? Corey, Yinzer Joe, Jen, everybody's on the board today. Guys, let's get a little bit more into this. Eagles are releasing defensive back James Bradbury. Of course, a lot of people remember him from a couple Super Bowls ago.
Yep.
The DB. He's somebody out there, Mike. Of course, you guys were talking about Nate Hobbs early in the week, the cornerback from the Raiders. The Jets are releasing Devontae Adams. Mike, the names, they're floating, they're flying around already. I can't even keep up with them all. You guys were talking about the offensive line trades earlier in the week. And like I said, once it gets going, And this is the fun part because you're feeling it amp up. You're feeling it amp up. This time next week, we're going to have new players. You're going to be excited. You can't wait to see what our defense is going to play like with this guy. A lot of fun, everybody. So welcome back. We are going to talk a lot about that today, actually. As a matter of fact, for the rest of the show, we already got hockey and baseball out of the way, Mike. So everybody joining in after that, it's going to be us, and the Steelers the rest of the day. A couple things here, Mike. As far as money goes, here's another interesting one that I saw. Washington got Deebo Samuel, McLaurin, and Lattimore. That's a $61 million cap hit. What are they doing in Philadelphia? We've been wondering what they've been doing in Philadelphia. They have Hurts, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Barkley, Dallas Goedert. Mike, $66 million cap hit for that. Whatever the Eagles are doing, please copy and paste in Pittsburgh because everything they touch right now is turning to gold.
Yeah, and the way Howie Roseman over there is using the cap to manipulate, using signing bonuses to manipulate the cap and move stuff around. It's a thing of beauty, and it reminds you of early day Omar Khan.
That's what I want. I want more Omar Khan to be early day Omar Khan.
Yeah, because he was the number guy. That's what he was, man. He was like, we need to find money to sign these big extensions, and he would go and find that money and find a way to keep kicking dead cap space down the road to where it never caught up with us. And with $60 million in cap space, and we just made a move today. We restructured Cole Holcomb. That freed up another $4 million in cap space. So he's working there too. It's looking like, if they extend TJ Watt, that's going to free up money this year too.
Mike, I'm going to cut you off for a minute. Yeah. Would it help us or would it hurt us just to let Cole Holcomb go? The guy played a handful of snaps in the first year he was here. The second year he was here, come on. I don't know if he played at all.
He didn't play at all. No.
Mike, wouldn't it be let's just get rid of Cole Holcomb, free up a few million more dollars and worry about having a third string linebacker who doesn't play later?
They were anticipating him to ready to play this year if they made it to the next round of the playoffs or the last season. So they were ready for him to play.
Was Roman Wilson ready to go in the championship round? Maybe.
Well, apparently we found out he can't read a playbook. Apparently, so like with
way to scout the guys.
Yeah. So if we let Holcomb go, then okay, are we gonna be able to re-sign a Landon Roberts? Does he want to go somewhere else? So now we just have Peyton Wilson and Patrick Queen are two starting inside backers. We'd have to go out and spend money on a backer. Probably have to spend more money on someone than Cole Holcomb. So I'm fine with keeping Cole Holcomb here.
I think it's going to be a waste. We've seen nothing other than it being a waste the whole time he was here. But I guess, let them go through the motions and figure it out themselves. Mike, here's a couple other notable releases and cuts in the NFL over the past couple of days. Of course, the one that's connected to the Steelers on some degree is Javon Hargraves, of course, the former Steeler, former Philadelphia Eagle, and now the former San Francisco 49er. Mike, Javon Hargraves is available. Also, this one here kind of caught my eye. Joey Bosa has been released by the Chargers. This is something that is comparable to when people talk about letting TJ Watt walk, I think, with the player that they had down there in Los Angeles with these Chargers. And it's going to lead me right to Corey Beaver's next text, Mike. He says, someone said to pay TJ whatever he wants before he walks, and I told him to let him walk for the money and the future stability. I couldn't agree with what Corey's saying more. I got to be honest with you, Mike. And again, Joey Bosa, I wouldn't even worry about somebody like him right now. People might say, let's get Bosa, but Joey Bosa is going to go somewhere. He's going to make somebody happy wherever he goes. I think Joey Bosa will land on his feet.
Joey, but he's had one good year out of the last 5. He's been injury prone, and when he's been healthy and out there, he's just been totally ineffective. So I think he's going to go somewhere as a backup on a prove it deal to see if he can come back and healthy and then make money next year. I don't want anything to do with him.
I think he's going to be all right. I think the Chargers, everybody goes to the Chargers and end out not having a great career. But anyway, you know what? Joey Bosa is out there. If your team is looking for that player, I'm a little bit more high on him than Mike is. But you know what? He has had a lot of injuries, and that is I think the deciding factor with a player like Joey Bosa. Guys, 49 days. We're just 49 days from the NFL draft. I can't believe it. And you think to yourself, 49 days is not a lot of days, especially when you have a lot of things going on in the meantime, as we do this week, next week in the NFL, Mike, and all these important dates in between. Guys, again, like Christmas morning next week is we'll be able to spend that together with everybody here on the show. I can't wait. Yinzer Joe says P. Wilson and Queen need to step up. I think that's why they kept Holcomb. Let's get into some of the Steeler news here, Mike. The Steelers, as you did mention that they did make this. They agreed to a revised contract with Cole Holcomb for clearing up $4 million in cap space. Also, you mentioned the Landon Roberts. Mike, I don't know what kind of money Landon Roberts is demanding at this point in his career, but I got to be honest with you. I'm the most confident with all those guys that you just named and people named on the board. The most confident with having a Landon Roberts in there. Is he Ray Lewis? No, by far he's not. But when it comes down to it, Mike, who's making a lot of key tackles in game situations where the Steelers are getting blown off the ball or where we're just letting up a lot of yards on defense? Mike, Landon Roberts is one of the only consistent linebackers. As you're Queen chasing a guy down the field, either Herbig or Peyton Wilson, they're everywhere. But again, they're not exactly, all-pro linebackers yet. Mike, I think if we can keep Landon around for another season or two, I think that would highly benefit this team. And again, we're not growing into a Landon. We're just using him for his stability and his hard play at this point.
I want the team to keep him around. Hopefully they can work something out to where he stays, and it's a nice contract that works for him and for the team, because like you said, he's that guy that's, when you need a tackle made, who's making that tackle? It's a Landon Roberts. He's the best run stuffing linebacker that we have.
So smart.
He's just a smart player. Good. He was only $3.5 million against the cap last year. You can get him back for that amount this year. or even a little bit of a raise, I'm all for it. And yeah, he's going to be like 31 next year. That's fine. You're not counting on him to be an every down backer, because Patrick Queen's like your every down backer. Then everyone else rotates in next to him, and I'm willing to pay that premium for him because, like you said, he can start in a pinch, and he's reliable, and he's the smart veteran presence to have on the team.
Corey says, don't get me wrong, I want Watt to stay. If he takes a team-friendly deal, awesome. But if not, QB, wide receiver, running back, and corner are more of a priority. Our top-paid defense clearly hasn't performed to justify it. You're absolutely right. Yinzer Joe says Roberts is slow on the pass, but does stop runs. That's why Queen and Wilson were out there more. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. they all kind of have to – this is an inside linebacker core that has to work together, as you're saying, having a Landon and running downs and the other guys in passing downs. But again, there's been times that I've been seeing, Patrick Queen chasing these tight ends all around the field like he's never covered anybody before. So, hopefully that will improve this year. But again, I don't know if Cole Holcomb is the answer to anything, guys. Jen says Roberts said in an interview that he wants to return to the Steelers. It's a perfect match. We love him. He's a Steeler. He, the way he hits, and if he wants to be here, make it happen. Give us a year, 2 years, something. That's not asking.
I can see like a 2-year deal, but the way the money works, being like a really
he's not young anymore either, Mike.
No, he's not young, and like Jen said, he wants to be here, and I think the Steelers want him here, and they have the money to make more than enough money to make it work. He's not going to cost more than $4 million a year, so I'm signing him up. One
note that I did pass, like when we were talking, and just in the NFL in general, the asking price for DK Metcalf, of course, came out. He's looking for Seattle's looking for a first and a third, and he's making roughly $30 million a year.
That ain't going to happen.
Somebody's going to take him. It isn't going to be us. They better not be us.
No, I don't see a first and a third for him with that kind of money, unless they're willing to eat a ton of that cap space.
Absolutely. There's so many big names out there, Mike. To me, a minute I'll be able to pull up this list of names of wide receivers. We could just kind of go down through these names real quick. So this right here, what I have in front of me, all these wide receivers are going to be free agents. The list is long, so just kind of bear with me for a moment. Of course, Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs, Keenan Allen, Chris Godwin, Amari Cooper, Brandon Cooks, Marquise Brown, DeAndre Hopkins, Elijah Moore, Deontay Johnson, Juju Smith-Schuster, Josh Palmer, Mike Williams, Nick Westbrook, Van Jefferson, Robert Woods, Demarcus Robinson, Tyler Boyd, Tutu Atwell, Noah Brown, KJ Osborne, Nelson Aguilar, I'm sorry, Tim Patrick, Mike. I mean, the list goes on and on and on here. So if we go into this football season, I just want to tell you, if we go into this football season like we did last year with no number 2 wide receiver, I don't know what I'm going to do.
I know,
Mike,
right?
Any names on that list that if you was to make a off-season wish list for the Steelers with free agency, anybody on that list that you would seriously make an argue for?
There's two. I don't think you named them, but we've talked about them in the past. Christian Kirk and Darius Slayton. Darius Slayton. Those are the two I'm going to look for.
Why those two more than everybody else? Of course, one from Jacksonville, one from the Giants that you're talking about. Why these two? Because I've heard you argue this point before, Mike. Of all those names, I mean, there's some pretty spectacular names in there. Those are the two that you kind of keep going back to. What's behind that for you?
I just like what they provide to the team. Slayton, he can both of those guys can play inside and outside receiver. So you don't have to. So they have positional flexibility on the offense. So if we go out into the draft and say we get Golden, the receiver from Texas, who's more of an outside receiver, those guys can slide inside into the top slot position. Then you still have Calvin Austin in the next. He can play inside as well. Even put him on the outside, let him burn the edge out there. Then you got, then you work Roman Wilson in to be that physical slot receiver the way Juju was. Those two just round out the room so much better. They're really good route runners, and they would complement George Pickens well. And they're the ones that the Steelers have shown a lot of interest in. They were trying to get Christian Kirk before he got hurt last year. There was a trade in place, but he got hurt and wasn't able to come here, and so that's why I'm high on him, because they were high on him.
Let me ask you this: who's the most ridiculous player that could come here that because they are free agent this year that you wouldn't want because of the money or because of some situation other than their play? Mike, who's the one of the guy that's just kind of a bucket list guy for you? Somebody that's a long shot, that somebody might be on this list that would be great for us, but you just don't want him here.
God.
Anybody stand out to you?
Like, I think Devontae Adams would be good, but I don't want him for the contract and for the way his attitude is. We don't need another negative attitude receiver the way we have George Pickens. I don't want Devontae Adams here or Stephon Diggs as well. I think those two are way past their prime, but they're still going to command a decent amount of change just because of their name and what they've done.
Derpy, are you awake? You alive over there? Beep if you're alive.
Huh?
Yeah. All right, you're alive.
You just woke him up.
I'm coming to you on this one, Derpy, because of course we're obviously talking. Was that dial up? Did I just hear a dial up?
I just heard a dial up.
That was a phone message.
Derpy, let me ask you this. Now, Ohio State's your team, and of course, the Pittsburgh Steelers are obviously looking at wide receivers. No question about that. Mel Kiper Jr. says this, guys, a couple days ago, Steelers need a professional wide receiver, someone who won't talk, like Emeka Egbuka from Ohio State. Guys, is there anything to these receivers in Ohio State that makes them look a little less attractive to you, Mike? Because, again, he was early on talked about pretty highly. This is somebody, all these guys from Ohio State. Now, of course, they spread out a little bit down to Texas with wide receiver talk. But, Mike, is there anything that Mel Kiper says here that concerns you about the Steelers needing a professional receiver and someone who won't talk like Egbuka? Yeah. Mike, does any of that concern you with these young Ohio State quarterbacks, especially coming into a situation where George may need somebody a little bit more with it together, maybe?
Well, that's Egbuka is that guy. He's the anti-diva receiver. Everything that you read about him is he's the opposite of George Pickens when it comes to or like the typical wide receiver that's a bit nuts. I wouldn't mind having him. I like the other receiver from Texas because he has a little bit more speed. I'd like another speed guy against George, but if they get Egbuka, I'd like that too because he can play inside and outside as well. He's more of an inside guy, but he has the route running ability to play outside, and he would be the opposite of George Pickens. He's not a head case. He's not a diva. He's just a Hines Ward type of guy. Like, I'm here to show up and do my work and get in and get out and let's go. Now you pair him with one of these other veterans receiver, and then you add George Pickens into it as well. That's a damn good receiving core right there.
I want to say good morning to Claude Bishop on the board. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the show. Mike totally hijacked your moment in the sun.
I'm sorry, Derpy. I thought you said me.
I would agree with everything Mike said, though.
Yeah, I think so too. Corey Beaver says Tomlin, being who Tomlin is, TJ's next contract will be more than Crosby's because of vet loyalty. And then also Yinzer Joe says not only that, those wide receivers are still young and won't demand a lot of money like the bigger wide receivers do. So yeah, always good comments on the board. No two ways about that, guys. We are talking a little bit more about where do I want to go with this? Where do I want to go?
I don't know.
Let's stay. Let's kind of. TJ Watt's mentioned on the board here. Did anybody see this speculation? Again, all rumors. A lot of rumors going on right now. Did anybody see TJ Watt? I'm sorry, for JJ McCarthy. Did anybody see the? You know what about this JJ McCarthy?
What?
Nobody. He hasn't done anything yet.
No.
His team did well in college, but yet he comes in as a rookie, gets hurt, is out all season. Why is there so much, Mike? So much weight on given to this JJ McCarthy?
Because he was a top 5 or a top 10 draft pick, I think. last year, and that's why they're just putting on that cachet of like, oh, look, he has the pedigree as a first round pick, but he hasn't shown anything. He really didn't impress me in college. Yeah, he won a national championship, but that team was built to win it.
Nothing to be impressed about.
Well, how many quarterbacks go on to win a national championship, go on to win a Super Bowl? You know, Mahomes didn't win a Super Bowl.
I mean, other quarterbacks aside, let's talk about what we have right here.
But like JJ McCarthy, like you look at his game, it was like the most exciting play for JJ McCarthy was I'm going to hand it off to one of my amazing running backs and let my amazing offensive line and stellar defense do its work. He's a more mobile Trent Dilfer is what he reminded me of in college. You know, he was there to just keep the process going and don't fuck it up. And if I need to make a play with my legs, I'll make a play with my legs. He just didn't impress me as a thrower in college, but I just know he's not one of those guys I would trade TJ Watt for him.
Yeah, if
I'm doing it, you better throw in this year's first and next year's first too, and maybe even sprinkle a second or third in there as well. But no.
I think I went this way because, of course, let's talk about Mike JJ McCarthy. I'm going to come over to another quarterback. This one, Jack Ham. Jack Ham actually endorses this potential quarterback target for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mike, Jack Ham endorses Jackson Dart. He wants Jackson Dart to become a Steeler. And now every day that I like Jackson Dart more, he moves up the chart further and further and further, putting him more out of reach for the Pittsburgh Steelers coming with their number 21 pick. This is a total disaster. If they wouldn't have said anything, or they wouldn't have, they should have just ignored him at the combine, shouldn't even looked at him. And now everybody is linking him up with us, which means it's going to become more difficult. Let's say nobody wants him prior to 21. They're going to make it more difficult for us to get him anyway. Once the cat's out of the bag, Mike, I really, really, again, we have 49 days, but realistically, that's a lot of time to put a lot of separation in between Jackson Dart and the Pittsburgh Steelers, because I think people realize this guy's probably going to be the guy if the Steelers draft him.
Yeah, and I just don't see the Steelers doing that. I don't see them going with drafting a quarterback in the first round. I think they're putting all their eggs into the Justin Fields basket, or the only way I can see them going quarterback first round is if Fields goes elsewhere and they have to get another quarterback. Then it's like, okay, we're going to maybe take a quarterback at 21, and that would be the only way to do it. And above the Steelers, there's like 5 teams above the Steelers that need quarterbacks, but they also need a shit ton of other things too before they go out and get quarterbacks. So it could potentially fall to 21, or maybe this quarterback class isn't as good as people are thinking, and Cam Ward goes first, and it'd be like the Kenny Pickett draft all over again, where guys keep falling down the board, and you can get there in the second, third round.
I was more comfortable a month ago.
Yeah, him being sneaking in there the second, third round. Yeah.
Yes, they were talking about Jackson Dart possibly falling to the second or third round. I thought, oh, we got this.
That'd be the perfect spot for him. I don't want to take him in the first round.
We got this.
Yeah.
But
now everyone started watching him more and more and more, and then his values keeps going up and up. So we'll see.
So there you go, guys. I mean, that's who I want. That's my Christmas list. I want Jackson Dart for Christmas for my Steelers. But again, Mike, it's getting more and more difficult. And as time goes on, even those 4 or 5 teams in front of us that may want a quarterback that may have something else going on. A lot of them are teams that generally aren't that good, and they're more unstable with their picks.
Yeah.
They might come in and just say, well, let's get our quarterback right now, where we would say, I don't want to get this quarterback till the second round at least, and let's get what we need now. I just find it so hard to believe that he might even be possibly available, Mike, in the first round anyway. I think he's going to be gone. That's my opinion. But if he lingers around and makes it, let's go after him. But Mike, it's going to be really, I think that's a long shot at this point.
It is a long shot. And like we know, like this team has a lot of needs, and quarterback is one of them. But right now, like we need more before we go and get our guy. We'll be fine a year or two with Fields and build the team around him, and then find the long-term solution along the way. Kind of like we were doing, like we've done. We did it in the 80s up until all the way through the 90s and early 2000s till we got Ben. So
I
I don't want to wait that long, but the blueprint and
as long as
foundation.
everybody understands that that's what it is.
Yeah,
We're going to go through that 6-month period of time with, let's say, Justin Fields at quarterback, which it could very well be at this point. I mean,
yeah,
a lot of things could happen. Don't get me wrong.
yeah,
Again, there's still free agency next week, Mike.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
We could wake up one day and have a quarterback, and so. But as I said, as long as people understand that that's what Justin Fields is, if he comes in and over achieves, great.
yeah.
But again, there's something missing with Fields for me. I don't know what it is. I just don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I wish that I did, Mike.
Yeah.
I watch him. There's things that I'm happy about. But me, like the rest of everybody else who watches football, there's something about him he just don't got. And again, whatever that is, you need as a quarterback to be a good team in this league. And whatever it is, again, I can't identify it.
Yeah.
He doesn't have it.
It's weird too. Like you look at it, I saw like they had a breakdown of it. Like it was like his last 17 starts in the regular season. So that's like a full season. Like a completion percentage was comparable to some of the top 10 quarterbacks. Yardage was comparable to the top 10 quarterbacks. Touchdowns were in that like top 15 range. Like stuff is there, but then you watch him play, it just doesn't feel like it's there.
Yes.
He's a weird evaluation. He was coming out of college and he is in the pros because it's like the situations that he's in. Then you look at some of the stats, they're eye popping. Then the others, like they're eye popping in the wrong direction. Like
I mean, you want
signs are there that it can work, but signs are there saying it can't work.
This is a quarterback's league. Now, this is an offensive league.
Yeah.
And the 6 games he played in, yes, he was successful, but the team wasn't. I mean, we won football games, but at the end of the day, you got to be able to score points. The guy wasn't a rookie. He was, he's been through the league for a whole rookie contract. He's gone to another team now. There's just something that isn't there. I don't know what it is, Mike. His ability to punch it in. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Corey says if we have signed a new guy at quarterback by draft time, then we'll trade up for Dart and take Jacoby Brissett. God, I hope that doesn't happen. And then he follows it up by saying it's how long he holds the ball and the way his eyes follow the receiver. Where he's wanting to throw. He doesn't have good poker face. He trusts a guy to get open. That's the thing. Yes. All those things.
It's like, we've been saying for a while now, he's in that range of like bottom tier starters, top tier backups. Like he just never, I don't think he's going to break through that range. Like you saw it with Kenny Pickett. There are wow moments, but like the same thing.
And this guy too, Mike,
lock onto a guy, and that's where
this thing coming in was putting the ball on the ground, which somebody might say, well, you know what, the center bad snaps to Russell Wilson as well, but it's consistent with the rest of his career, is what I'm saying with Justin Fields.
I'm looking at the stats right now on him on the fumbles. Yep, it's consistent. Yep.
So, I mean, whatever, the rookie center had a bad snap. That's not what it is. The fact of the matter is this guy puts the ball on the ground. That's an issue for me. You don't bring in a guy. You don't put all your money on a guy that has a hard time keeping possession of the ball. You just don't. It's not a smart move, I don't think, for anybody, Mike. But you know what? It could very well. Again, though, we could wake up next week and have a brand new franchise quarterback that's making a lot of money, and we could all be smiling and getting ready for the season at that point. But again, it's very, very possible that number 2 will be under center next year as well.
And for me, I'm okay with it. He's the perfect bridge quarterback.
That's what he is.
Because this is the kind of quarterback that they want. Someone who can run, someone who can throw. So, okay, you're building that offense while you have a quarterback like here. If he works out, great. If not, that's fine too, because you're going to look for your replacement along the way. And that's what a bridge quarterback is. And I'm fine with having a bridge quarterback because guess what? We're going to finish 9-8, 10-7 next year. just etch it in stone, baby. But like that, like one of the most guaranteed payouts every year is Steelers over or under 9 wins. Just more or less 8 wins. Just take the over every year.
Mike, let's go. Let's motion back to the backfield here. Behind the quarterback, I'm going to give you some names that the Steelers have met with at the Combine.
Yes.
Coming out of college. See if any of these names stand out to you. Of course, Ashton Genty. Everybody's talking about this guy out of Boise. Quinshawn Judkins, Ollie Gordon II, Jordan James, Caleb Johnson, DJ Giddens, Jaden Blue, Travion Henderson, of course, Amarian Hampton, Dylan Sampson, Kyle Mangani. Mike, anybody on this name make you lick your lips? Because again, I mean, it's very possible Najee Harris could be out of here really soon. Mike, anybody on this list? And if not anybody on this list, is there anybody around the league that catches your attention and you're like, I just heard this morning Najee could be looking to go to Dallas, which would be super kicking the balls. Not only are we losing him, he's going to the Cowboys. But Mike, is there anybody out there that you feel that we just need to bring here? And again, don't put draft picks aside, everything like that. Who do you like at this point?
Like in the draft, I've been Quinshon Judkins. I love the production that he put up, splitting time with Trayvon Henderson. We ran a lot of zone blocking scheme, and just looking at PFF, his rushing grade when he was running in behind the zone blocking scheme was one of the better running backs in the league. He's smart, he's explosive. I like the way he played him. If you're looking for later in the draft, like a change of pace speed guy, Jadon Blue, he's a speedster out of Texas. I wouldn't mind getting him later in the round in the draft. In free agency, it's I'd rather, I don't know, if they want another veteran running back, maybe someone like Aaron Jones, but he might be too much. J.K. Dobbins coming out of Carolina, or not Carolina, excuse me, the Chargers, but he was hurt a lot.
I know.
Times
If
in
he wasn't
Baltimore.
so injury
If
prone, Mike, I think
he's the
he's a good Steeler running back.
Yeah, I like. God, my God, I would love to have him, but I just don't know the cost for him. And you also going to have to pay Jaylen Warren. He's been having a very productive career here, so you're going to have to pay him too. But if there's some way that you can get Jaylen Warren, Dobbins, in one of those running backs in the draft, I would be all for it. I think that'd be a damn good running back room.
See, I agree with Claude Bishop here. They should have given Najee his fifth-year option. 6.7 seems like a bargain. I like Najee, and especially because you're talking other. I'm seeing these names being thrown around. Some that you name, like Alvin Kamara being another name. And Alvin Kamara, a lot of people say, you know what, he's a good running back, but nobody realizes he never had an 1,000-yard season. I think that the Najee Harris deal would be good right now for what we have. Again, nobody's calling this a Super Bowl season. They're saying, you know what, it's probably going to be Justin Fields under center. It's probably going to be a kick the can down the road kind of season. It's going to be a bridge situation. I don't see the problem with giving Najee the fifth year. Again, for the production that he's put out there, I mean, he's, don't get me wrong, he doesn't have this jet speed I mean, that's the argument about the guy. He seems that he's rather slow, but at the end of the day, he puts up the numbers, and that's what matters, guys. Let me say good morning to Rita Jackson on the board. If we can land Hampton in the second of trade back and get him in the first, I like that. Jukins is nice in the third. We could get him there. I like Khalil Herbert in free agency, or if we can land Nick Chubb. Mike, what do you think about the comment by Tortilla Jackson?
I like it. I don't.
Tortilla Jackson, I'm sorry.
I don't want to take a running back in the first round. I'm not against taking running backs in the first round.
You've never been a big fan of a first round pick for a running back.
I know. I like them. I like them. If you have the team in place, go ahead and get your running back, help you put you over the top. But the Steelers have a lot of needs, and I think you can get a quality running back in rounds 2 and 3, and maybe down in the 4th round too. I don't want to take another running back in the first round.
Corey, I think, agrees more with you, Mike. He says, I don't care about yards. He says AK is a TD machine. Yards don't mean anything if you don't produce points. I don't know if that comes back on Najee, the fact that we were unable to score a lot of points or not. But I understand what you're saying. I definitely get what you're saying. Mike, and who was that, the white kid, the kid out of Arizona State that everyone was crazy about? I mean, his name wasn't even on this list.
No.
So, this is what we're looking at running backs. Mike, let's hop over to the defensive side of the ball, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
The name that you guys brought up a couple days ago was this Nate Hobbs at cornerback. Of course, corner is a position that we certainly are going to need. Let me ask you this: why don't we like Dante Jackson, and why isn't he coming back?
He had
I liked him. He had a handful of interceptions.
Of interceptions, but those were good. But then you sort of see a lot of coverage breakdown as the season went on. They're not opposed to bringing him back, but I think they want to go and test and see who's out there. If they can get an upgrade at the corner position, someone who's better at coverage than him, they're going to do it. I'd like to see him come back, but also get another outside corner as well with him. Let Beanie run the slot, see if he can do it. But yeah,
You know what?
like
Beanie was successful enough last year to where I feel
yeah,
comfortable with him playing the nickel corner position. You know, you're going to obviously want somebody. Last year you had who was the cat we brought back from Detroit after Cam
oh
Sutton.
god, Cam Sutton. He oh
So I mean,
god,
you
he
just get
fell off
another,
hard.
right, and that's what kind of where we struggled at because you had a rookie and then you had Cam Sutton who wasn't performing up to what he
Yeah.
could have. You know, if you bring in somebody decent where those two guys could swap out, you know, see if Beanie Bishop can be the guy moving forward.
Yeah.
Which again, you know, there was a couple times last season that I thought, you know what, this is going to be he's going to be a good player for us, Mike. Going back to this Nate Hobbs, this cornerback, he had last year had 49 tackles, 1 interception, 5 passes defensed in 11 games. Again, somebody like Dante Jackson was just so damn productive on defense. I don't remember the amount of interceptions, but I think he had more interceptions than everybody
He had
on defense.
he had 6 tied for the lead.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And how long? I mean, how long has Dante Jackson been in the league, Mike? Is he how old of a fellow is he?
Give me 1 second here. Sorry. I was not ready for the Dante Jackson. I was looking up Nate Hobbs. So Dante Jackson. Oh my god, my computer wants to run slow.
Are you work on that? I'm going to catch Corey on his message. He said DJ relies too much on safety help. He got burned a lot in one-on-one coverage.
Yeah, he's 29.
29.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yinzer Joe says, I don't think the organization wants to waste the prime years of Hayward, Watt, and Fitzpatrick. I think they'll get their quarterback and build around that very fast. You don't want to miss the prime years of Cam Hayward, guys.
No,
the guy's almost as old as we are.
Yeah.
I don't know, guys. On the board, what do you guys think? A lot of things happening right now in the NFL. Throw some opinions, throw some questions, anything like that up on the board. There's a lot happening. And as I said, we were about next Wednesday. Today's Thursday. Next Wednesday at 4 o'clock, guys, it is going to be free agency in the NFL. In my opinion. But again, next Wednesday, free agency. Mike, people are on the move now. Who was the offensive lineman? You and Derpy were going on about some offensive linemen moving.
Oh, places. It was Joe Tooney. He had another all-pro season everywhere he goes. Dude's just an all-pro, Pro Bowler. He was, Kansas City said he's available, and then like 6 minutes later, Chicago's like, he's ours. Thank you very much.
So the Bears are putting a lot of work in up there, man. Is this
they're
ever going to be any good?
God, you know what? If they get their offensive line set, they might. It's going to be.
Maybe the next NFC North team to have a great season and go one and done in the playoffs.
Like probably because it is the
Green Bay.
It is the Chicago Bears. So it's probably going to happen. They're going to get beat up.
Tordia Jackson is injury prone and can't tackle, can't play man. Hobbs can tackle. He also says, they also say what you guys think about Christian Fulton, Chargers cornerback, really solid and might be cheaper than some of the top quarterbacks might.
Yeah, I saw him out there too on the market. I wouldn't be opposed to bringing him in. The one corner from the Chargers I don't want to bring in is Asante Samuel. He can't play man press and he can't tackle. Fulton I wouldn't mind bringing in if they get down to Fulton, I'd be disappointed that they didn't get someone like Hobbs and an outside corner like Reed or Travarius Ward.
Absolutely, Mike. It's again super exciting.
I want to get like Fulton. That's telling me we're bargain shopping. But unless we spend a lot of money on offense and then we bargain shop at corner, okay.
You don't want that to be
I might be okay with that. You get Hobbs and Fulton. But you're spending in somehow swing to get one of the two really good wide receivers. Spend the more money there. I'm willing to listen on that.
Mike, again, just less than a week away. We're gonna have new people donning the black and the gold.
I can't wait.
It won't be long now. Realistically, let's take a poll. Not a poll, Mike, but just a guess. What are you thinking that we're going to attack first next week once free agency does start? I mean, we could. Last year was bang, bang, bang. Within a couple days, we had Patrick Queen, we had Russell Wilson, and we had Justin Fields. Mike, do you expect to see the same kind of free agency from the Omar Khan and the Steelers this year? And if you do, what do you think that they'll attack first? Last year, I thought Patrick Queen was a bit of a surprise. The quarterbacks, not so much. Anybody that you could see us just attacking if we can get our hands on them as soon as free agency starts?
taking quarterback position out of the window in this thing right here, it's got to be one of those wide receivers. It has to be a wide receiver. Get that position done and then let the chips fall where they may everywhere else. Go out and land a receiver that we know will be here ready to go outside or opposite George Pickens. Don't just rely on another rookie. Let's get someone else in there, whether it be a Christian Kirk, whether it be a Godwin, but I think he's going back to Tampa Bay. Go out, get a legit number 2 wide receiver. Start there, then go to corner, spend your money there, and then look for a D lineman somewhere.
I have a hard time thinking to myself that us or a lot of teams for that matter would have a difficult time prying somebody away from a Tampa Bay team. Here's the thing, as they're getting a little up in age, because again, we talked about Godwin, we talked about Evans, we talked about all these guys. I think at the end of the day, when you're playing Tampa Bay, where the weather's what it is and people enjoy living that life, I think it's that much more impossible to grab a guy from a team like that and bring him to Pittsburgh, where it's going to be freezing in October and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it sucks because you like to have an opportunity to get a guy like Godwin or Evans or whoever there are.
Yeah.
But Mike, it just seems to be once guys go to Tampa, they don't go back. Tom Brady went to Tampa. He won his Super. It just seems very difficult once they go there. And as an aging player, no less. Yeah. It's so much tougher to get them to come to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, you're coming off an injury. You already won a Super Bowl. You already made tens of millions of dollars. You're living in a warm city. You played your college ball up north in Penn State in the cold. Why come back to the cold? So it's a pipe dream. I think he likes it. The organization likes it down there. I think they want him back. So he's a non-starter, but I would love to have him because he's just another steady influence at the wide receiver position. Like him and Cooper Kupp were like the two that I were looking at because I think they're both professional players that George Pickens would hopefully listen to. Guys that have been there and done that, won Super Bowls, key parts to Super Bowls. That's what really the big reason I would love to get Godwin as an influence on George Pickens. Same thing with Cooper Kupp. But my God, just attack the receiver position early and often in free agency.
Yinzer Joe said Najee can't do the zone runs and burst through. Corey says, is it just me or is there issues with the audio? I don't know. Are there, Mike?
I don't know. I'm monitoring somewhere else I didn't notice.
Okay. Just good catch. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Corey. Mike, why don't you go and tell everybody about the website?
The2dumbyinzers.com. Check it out, everyone. Especially if you're new here, we have all of our links Ryan and I do for our social media over there. Got the merch store over there. We got the blog over there. I will have a fresh mock draft for this week up here. Some of the sites that I use updated all their rankings, so the mock draft might be more in line with post combine stuff. So yeah, check it out at the2dumbyinzers.com.
Go check it out, everybody. www.the2dumbyinzers.com. That's www.the2dumbyinzers.com. Mike does put a lot of work over there, so go check out, see what he's doing. He got mock drafts, all kind of stuff. You could always go check any of that stuff out. Also, you could always stop by and check out our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, formerly known as X, and Threads. We do have social media presence all over the internet. Go check it out, everybody. Like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Derpy, Mike, put on your thinking caps. Today is going to be today's trivia question of the day is going to be regarding women in sports. Mike, women, because this is National Women's Month. So just as we do every month, we're going to ask some questions regarding women. So Mike, Derpy, put your thinking caps on. Everybody on the board, everybody at home. Here is the question of the day. Here we go. These cheerleaders cheered on the Steelers from 1961 to 1969. What was the name of the only cheerleaders the Steelers ever had? Guys, these cheerleaders cheered on the Steelers from 1961 to 1969. What was the name of the only cheerleaders the Steelers ever had? Our women recognize Women Month. Here it is, guys. That is our first women's question. Think about that. We're live 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every day right here on YouTube. Question of the day. while you're thinking, let me read a couple comments to you, Jackson. I like Kirk and Slayton, but they both probably want to play for a real quarterback for once. That's the catch-22 that we're in.
Yeah.
We can't get a quarterback because we don't have, because we're, see what I'm saying? We can't get receivers because we don't have a quarterback. We can't get a quarterback because we're just not good. It's just such a weird position, guys. Yinzer Joe says, "Don't Jackson have lingering back injuries that hindered his play?" Is that what his deal was? I couldn't remember.
Yeah. Down the stretch, man. Yeah, he kept his back was all fucked up.
All right, question of the day. These cheerleaders cheered on the Steelers from 61 to 69. What was the name of the only cheerleaders the Steelers ever had? Mike, do you have any guesses, or do you want to talk this out, try to figure it out?
You know what sucks? I saw this posted on Twitter. I read the article. I can't remember what they were called. I did not retain that bit of information. Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna just throw this name out there. I'm gonna throw out the Riveters because we got the new hockey team coming up, the Pittsburgh Riveters. So I'm throwing out the that's what our Steeler cheerleaders were called, the Riveters.
All right, the Riveters cheerleaders. Mike, is this your final answer?
Final answer.
All right, so you're locked in. Derpy, over to you. The big contest winner on the show. The question of the day is: these cheerleaders cheered the Steelers from 1961 to 1969. What was the name of the only cheerleaders the Steelers ever had, Derpy? Mike says the Riveters. What do you think?
The Steel Gals.
The Steel Gals. Not a bad pick. Not a bad pick at all. Is that your final answer?
Yes.
All right. Derpy is all in on the Steel Gals. Mike with the Riveters. Derpy, the Steel Gals. One more time, the question of the day goes like this. These cheerleaders cheered on the Steelers from 1961 to 1969. What was the name of the only cheerleaders the Steelers ever had? Derpy says, after a beep, of course, the Steel Gals. Mike says, the Riveters. I'm going to give another minute just in case anybody wants to throw a guess on the board. Maybe somebody knows it. There he is. There's Derpy. There's my Derpy beeping away over there. Beep. But I'm looking for the name of the Steelers cheerleaders that cheered for our Pittsburgh Steelers from 1961 to 1969. My favorite answer, of course, Tortilla Jackson says the 7 bitches.
I don't know why that is so fucking funny.
All right, guys. So we have the Steel Gals for Derpy. We have the Riveters for Mike. We got the 7 bitches.
I mean the bridges.
They mean 7 bridges, of course. Of course, we all do that.
Of course.
Right.
So the question of the day be this. These cheerleaders cheered on the Steelers from 1961 to 69. What was the name of the only cheerleaders the Steelers ever had? Steel Gals, Riveters, the 7 bridges, of course. The answer is, guys, I had to let the beep talk first. The Steelerettes. The Steelerettes. The Steelerettes is the answer. The only cheerleaders the Steelers ever had were the Steelerettes. And I got to be honest, I didn't realize they cheered for almost a whole decade.
Yeah.
To me, it seemed like it was something that was only a year or two, but there you go, guys. Yeah. The 60s, the Steelerettes. Good try, though.
Derpy was close.
Derpy was close. Derpy was close. I do want to say this. I do believe I was just reading a message. I don't think that Finch will be on tomorrow, but his show will be on tomorrow night. Guys, do go check out right here on the Two Dumb Yinzer network. You can check out tomorrow at 9:30 p.m. heading into the weekend. Check out the Two Cranky Jagoffs hosted by Finch and Tim. A lot of good stuff they talk about. Last week they talked about the uniforms. Mike, uniforms were the topic. Yeah. I like that. They went over the 100 best uniforms in pro sports. Really good. Make sure to go check them guys out. Like, follow, subscribe, all that fun stuff. That's going to be at 9:30 tomorrow. What else do I got here? Mike, what do you got? Anything for you ready to take off?
Big news for the Buccos. They announced a Paul Skeens bobblehead day.
Yeah.
Against Cleveland.
That's
Burp, are you going down for that?
I might have to.
I might have to too. It's just crazy. They couldn't put any more money into getting players, but we'll have bobbleheads for everybody. That's the Pittsburgh Pirate way. Also, did we win any rings with them Steelerettes? We did not, unfortunately. We didn't win until 74. They wrapped up in 69. I mean, I wouldn't mind them back. I would not mind chicks down there shaking around. That's fine with me. What else? Corey says, is it sexiest that we don't know? LOL. We're failing Women's Month. Yes,
We
we're
are
failing
failing.
Women's Month
We are
terribly.
failing. We're failing hard.
Mm,
You know us here at the 2W Yinzers. We try our hardest to please women.
that's right. Them 7 bitches.
That's just my favorite answer ever.
I love
7
it.
bitches.
And even if it was a typo, that's even funnier.
It
That's
makes
what
it even
comes up.
better.
Let's see. It's a Joe. Everywhere the Steelers need to draft, they need to sign a free agent for that position too.
They do. They do. You're
Unfortunately,
not wrong.
You're not wrong. My side story for the day is this, guys. I don't know if you had anybody remembers this. I don't even know if anybody even cares. But do you guys remember Casey Anthony? She's kind of a hot chick. Probably about 10 years ago, she killed her daughter, and there was a big trial for it, and she was. I think she was guilty. I don't know what that was.
She's found not guilty.
Found not guilty is what it was, and she was giving drugs to help the baby fall asleep, and they found her in the trunk. It was just this whole big story. Well, Casey Anthony, she just on TikTok, she just joins TikTok and promotes a legal advocate role, Mike. Is what Casey Anthony's doing on TikTok. What the hell? I guess if you're going to get any advice on how to get out of something, Casey Anthony would be the one to listen to, right?
Yeah, I saw that. Like she was like, I'm here for like victims advocacy or legal advocacy rights because no one was there to advocate for my daughter. Everyone's like, bitch, there's a reason your daughter wasn't there. You're the reason.
Exactly.
Allegedly.
I mean, I can remember watching this trial, and she said that she let Zanny the nanny babysit the kid, meaning that she basically gave the baby Xanax. And, like, what a whack out! This chick is whacked out of her mind.
She is nuts, and she was getting dragged all over social media. It was.
She's hot. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, would you
I don't want her babysitting my kid. No. I don't want her anywhere near my kid.
No.
Jesus Christ.
Or Derpy. I don't want her any around Derpy either.
Well, I'm willing to take a chance.
Wow, Mike.
Corey says Tallman is our only cheerleader now. He had to have control of that too. Like I said, guys, ain't much talking going on tonight, Mike. I usually say, whatever's going on in Pittsburgh sports.
Shit on.
Penguins tomorrow, they take on the Golden Knights. That game's at 10 o'clock tomorrow, heading into the weekend. I'm sure the Pirates play somebody in the Grapefruit League, but doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's the Pirates.
It's the Buccos. Derpy, what about you, man? Anything before we take off, bro?
Beep.
All right, just as I suspected. No better, no worse. There he is, the man, the myth, the legend, Derpy, and his sidekick, the Beep. Claude agrees with Yinzer Joe. Again, it's freezing in Western Pennsylvania today. Yesterday it was over 60. Again, Mike and I in our Speedos running around in the parking lot, frolicking, nut meat hanging out, everything. But today, freezing snow on the ground. I can't believe it. I cannot wait till spring, guys. And it's not that far away. I think the 20th of this month or something.
Yeah.
So hopefully it'll be spring weather sooner than later. But nonetheless, guys, we'll be back tomorrow at our regular time to do it all over again. But next Wednesday, guys, 4:00 p.m., the big day. A million things could happen between now and then, I'm going to be honest. So we'll certainly keep on everything and get ready for tomorrow's show. Make sure we have all this up-to-date scoop about free agency, about trades, about people getting cut. A lot of interesting people, again, being cut already, Mike, as we stated. Devontae Adams, Javon Hargraves, Joey Bosa. I mean, the list really does go on. So, again, James Bradsbury. So, it's going to be a lot of fun. Keep your eyes open. We will be back tomorrow at our regular time to do it all over again. Yinzer Joe says the Steelerettes, guys.
Baby.
Mike, anything else? Speak now, forever hold your peace.
No, man. Other than thank you, everyone, tuning in. It was fun. It was a blast. Let's do it again tomorrow.
Derpy.
Mike is bald.
All right. I think we could all agree on that, everybody. Everyone have a great day. Stay warm. Stay safe, and we'll see you tomorrow at our regular time. Have a great day, everybody.